I'm Nate Eaton outside the Bonneville County Courthouse where Brian Mitchell has just appeared in court for the very first time. Bond was set on the second-degree murder charge. That bond, $500,000 cash. Interestingly enough, Mitchell already had a warrant out for his arrest concerning a completely different case, a case in juvenile court regarding resisting and obstructing an officer that happened back in February. Today in court, he not only addressed the murder charge, but also that earlier charge. We heard from him for the very first time. Here's what happened.
Mr. Mitchell, were you able to watch a video that advised you of your rights there in the jail today?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do you read, speak, and understand English language?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have any questions at all about any of the rights that you have?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Let's start with the new case, which is CR 2015-10464. In that case, Mr. Mitchell, I have received a criminal complaint, and a criminal complaint that's been laid before me and sworn by Officer Deedy, alleging one count of murder in the second degree. Have you seen a copy of that criminal complaint?
No, Your Honor.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and read you the complaint. You'll be provided with a copy of that complaint so that you'll be able to see it, but I'll read it to you. At least it's pertinent part of this point. It's alleged that you committed murder in the second degree of felony pursuant to Idaho Code 18-4001. Specifically, they allege that you, Brian J. Mitchell, on or about August 16, 2015, in the county of Bonneville, state of Idaho, did unlawfully and with malice aforethought. Is that what you intended? With malice aforethought, kill and murder Deraek Patrick Larson, a human being, by stabbing the victim with a knife, thereby causing the death of said victim. Do you understand what they claim you did?
Yes, Your Honor.
The maximum penalty for that, if you were to be convicted of that charge, Mr. Mitchell, is 10 years to life, meaning that life is the maximum, 10 years is the minimum, a $50,000 fine or both fine and prison. In addition, you can be required to pay restitution, and you can be required to pay a $5,000 amount to the victim or the victim's family, which is referred to as a restitution or compensatory fine. In addition, because it's a crime of violence, you can be required to provide a right thumbprint and keep a sample of DNA on file with the Idaho Department of Corrections. Do you understand the maximum penalty?
Yes, Your Honor.
I have in front of me also an application for a public defender that appears that was filled out by you today and signed by you. Are you requesting the public defender?
Yes, Your Honor.
That indicates that you're currently unemployed and you own no assets that you could use to hire an attorney. Is that all true?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Based on that, I will appoint the public defender to represent you. You could be required to reimburse the county for some or all of the services of the public defender if you plead guilty or if you're found guilty of the charge. Next, you have the option of entering a not guilty plea or a guilty plea to the charge. If you enter a not guilty plea, I'll set the matter for a pretrial conference to give you a chance to discuss this matter with your attorney, to give you a chance to conduct discovery, prepare for trial if that's what you want to do, negotiate with the state, all of those things. If you enter a guilty plea, obviously you'd be giving up a number of rights that I'd want to make sure you understood before you entered the plea, and you'd be subjecting yourself potentially to the maximum penalty. Do you understand your two choices?
Yes, Your Honor.
Of those two choices, what would you like to do? Yes.
Is the court intending on taking...
I apologize, Mr. Clark. No. I apologize, Mr. Clark. You're correct. I can't take a plea in this case, Mr. Mitchell. What we need to do is set this matter for a preliminary hearing. I apologize. So we'll set this matter for a preliminary hearing. The state has the burden of establishing probable cause of the preliminary hearing, so that's what we'll do. Set the matter for a preliminary hearing on September 2nd, 2015 at 1:30 p.m. That'll be set in front of Judge Stevenson. Thank you, Mr. Clark. You must be present on that day. If you fail to appear, obviously the warrant can be issued for your arrest. We do need to discuss the bond in this case. Mr. Mitchell, is there anything you want to say about the bond that I should set?
No, Your Honor.
All right. My understanding is you're currently unemployed, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Does the state wish to be heard on the bond?
We do, Your Honor. The court is well aware of the facts of this case as we just proceed with probable cause hearing, so I will not go into those at this time. I don't know much of anything about Mr. Mitchell at this point, other than what the court's relayed here. He is just over 18 years of age, unemployed, and presumably based on the application the court has, is not a man of financial means. Based upon all of that, comparing also the significance of the charge we're dealing with, the state is going to recommend a bond of $500,000.
All right. Anything else from you, Mr. Mitchell, on the bond?
No, Your Honor.
Well, considering the factors of Idaho Criminal Rule 46, the nature of the case, connections to the community with Mr. Mitchell, I do have an interview from, well, it looks like pretrial services did not interview Mr. Mitchell. Based on the nature of the crime, the strength of the state's case, based on the probable cause that was presented today, the seriousness of the case, potential penalty, which is up to life in prison, the potential for flight because of that, because of the youth of Mr. Mitchell as well. I do think that a high bond is appropriate. The state's recommendation is, in my mind, given the nature of this offense, somewhat low, but given that recommendation, I will set bond amount of $500,000 cash assurity. I'll further order that if you do post bond, Mr. Mitchell, that you must sign a waiver of extradition back to the state of Idaho, and you must report to pretrial services for monitoring during the term until this matter is resolved. Furthermore, as a condition of your release, you're not to consume or possess any alcohol, nor are you to consume or possess any controlled substances not prescribed by a physician. And I think that should take care of the conditions in this case. Do you understand the bond and the conditions?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Again, there's a preliminary hearing scheduled for the 2nd of September 2015 at 1:30 p.m. in front of Judge Stephen Clark. You must be present on that day. If you fail to appear, a warrant can be issued for your arrest. I also need to deal with this juvenile case 2015-210. In that case, there is a warrant of detention that was issued based on an affidavit of probable cause that was filed in this case, alleging that you violated the terms and conditions of your juvenile probation. Basically, it alleged that you had absconded from supervision. Have you seen a copy of that report of violation?
No, Your Honor.
All right, you'll get a copy of that as well. Based on that, Judge Savage issued a warrant of detention for you, signed that on the 24th of July, 2015. You do have a right, in this case, to be represented by counsel as well. Were you previously appointed an attorney in this case?
No, Your Honor.
It looks like you did have Mr. Tim French was your attorney. Was he privately retained then?
No.
All right, so it does look like Mr. French is still your attorney of record based on the file here. He's not withdrawn, so, and was he appointed Madam Clerk?
He was appointed and he did.
He did? I don't see withdrawn on the file.
It was just entered yesterday.
Okay, it hasn't. So he did file a withdrawal in this case. It hasn't made it to the, to my file yet. Do you want the public defender to represent you on the misdemeanor case again?
Sure, let's go with it, yeah.
All right, I'll appoint the public defender in that case as well. Then, do you want to enter a denial or an admission to the probation violation?
I'll admit it. I'll plead guilty to it, yeah.
I'm sorry, say that again?
I admit to it.
You want to admit to the probation violation that you absconded probation?
Yes, Your Honor.
Before I accept that, obviously you'd be doing that without having talked to your attorney. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
In addition, you'd be giving up your right to a trial in which the state would have to prove by a preponderance of the evidence that you violated your probation. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
You'd also be giving up, as to the probation violation, you'd be giving up your right to remain silent, giving up the right to confront and cross-examine witnesses, your right to call your own witnesses regarding your guilt or innocence as to the probation violation. Do you understand all of that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. and you'd be giving up the right to appeal everything except for the sentence that would be imposed on the probation violation. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
With that in mind, is it still your desire to admit the probation violation?
No, let's change that, yeah.
Do you want to enter a denial then?
No, yeah.
Okay, I'll enter a denial on your behalf. We'll set this matter then for an evidentiary hearing on the 25th of August 2015 at 10 o'clock a.m. Again, you must be present on that day. If you fail to appear, a warrant can be issued for your arrest. I'm actually going to hold you in custody on that case with until you see Judge Savage on the 25th anyway. So you can't be released on the juvenile case anyway, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything further in this case, Mr. Clark? Do you have any questions, Mr. Mitchell?
No, Your Honor.
Again, all of that playing out this evening here at the Bonneville County Courthouse. We are expected to learn much more tomorrow and early next week. We will stay on top of the story and bring you the very latest at eastidahonews.com. For now, reporting at the Bonneville County Courthouse in Idaho Falls, I'm Nate Eaton, eastidahonews.com.